Okay, hi, welcome to yoga. Today we're going to be doing some strength and working into the shoulder space. So you need a block or a strap, block and a strap just in case. We are going to start laying down. I'm going to say that if you've got a cushion or something, it's going to be preferable to a block. My block is a cork block and it's really hard. If yours is soft, then great. But if you've got a cushion or a bolster or a towel you can wrap up, we're going to start there. So lay yourself down over the top of your cushion. What we want to do is put it kind of roughly here-ish so that we can allow our shoulders to melt over the top of it. That's the plan. Okay, so laying yourself down, up to you. If you've got lower back issues, then you can keep your feet flat, maybe your knees come in. If you're happy just to play around with the position, then by all means you can extend those legs, see how comfortable that feels for you, and then adjust accordingly. Okay, so we want to start to feel that chest lifting. We want to feel the space through the front body. We want the shoulders to fall back. We want the toes to just drop out to opposite corners of the mat. Now, I know this feels like a final savasana and you haven't done any of the hard work yet, so I recognize that. But what we want to do is just feel into our bodies and find the space that we're going to be working in today. And we're just going to start to settle into the space that we're holding, find the breath. So closing off the eyes, just taking some nice deep inhales, lifting through the chest, exhaling, releasing, finding the heaviness against the cushion or the bolster, and then against the mat. Just noticing how the breath is likely to be slowing down as you begin to focus in on just on yourselves. What an absolute gift to be able to give yourselves today. So we're going to do some even breathing. You can stay in this position if you're happy to. If you want to move to a different position, then please be my guest. So we're going to start our even breathing. If my breath pattern doesn't match yours, then do your own thing. That is no issue at all. Okay, so here we go. Let's take an inhale for the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, and 1. With a nice, slow and relaxed breathing pattern, just see if you can turn your attention to an intention for today's practice. Whatever that might be, doesn't matter. See if you can focus in on something. Maybe it's finding your inner strength. Maybe it's being grateful for something spectacular that happened today. Or maybe it's a more simple thing, like just being able to find some time for yourself. Okay, from here, nice and slowly, just see if you can take the feet flat. We're going to start to just lift up the head and move the cushion out from underneath you. Lay yourself back down again with the feet flat. Just bring the knees in towards one another and bring the feet as wide as the mat. Really feel that release through the hips. And then from here, let's take the hands up above the head, finding that space through the shoulders. Take a moment here. It's going to take that left hand and just move it towards the right side. Maybe the right hand can take the left. Just gentle opening through that left side body. Bringing the hands back to center and then finding some space through the right side body as that right hand creeps across to the left. Allowing the breath to really help you here as you take that nice deep inhale, feeling the ribs start to separate and then shrink off. Nice and slow in the breath. And then releasing, coming back to center. From here, just draw those knees in towards you. Allow the length of the spine to be down on the mat. Push through the heels. And then from here, we're just going to push the knees away, take them wide and bring them in towards you. Just moving in hip circles. You'll notice that your core has to work a little bit harder as you push the knees away. So lower back pushes down into the mat. If you don't want to work quite so hard through the core, then keep the knees closer to you. Okay, let's take it in the opposite direction this time. Knees come towards you, take them wide and then push them away. Noticing the cricks and the cracks. Making sure that we're never feeling pain in yoga. Just enjoying what the body can do. We're not fuss what it can't do. There's no point in focusing on that. We need to celebrate what we can do. Bring those knees in towards you. Bring them forehead up towards the knees. Curl yourself into a beautiful little ball, resembling a beautiful snail. Just take a moment here. And then we're going to rock and roll the spine. As we do, let's come up to a seated position. Taking ourselves into a cross-legged position, if that is comfortable for you. Now, I know you know how to sit, but let's just recap anyway. Okay, so a really nice thing to do here is pop a block underneath the bottom. If that doesn't feel good for you, then don't do it. But I like the way that it opens up the hips. It allows me to lengthen through my spine. Might not be the same for your body, but just play around with it, notice. So we're thinking about lifting up nice and tall. Imagine that cord from the crown of the head lifting you up, shoulders over the top of those hips. Get the fleshy part of the bottom out of the way and sit on the sit bones, okay? Perfect. From here, let's take the hands to the back of the head. We're going to open up those elbows towards the opposite sides of the room. From here, let's start to open the gaze up towards the ceiling, thinking about lifting the chest, lifting the chin. And then from here, start to tuck the chin down towards the chest, bring the elbows alongside the ears. We're going to start to round down through the spine. Thinking about this as being your seated cat-cow. There's no rush here. We certainly don't want to feel any discomfort. So getting to a point where you feel comfortable, you've reached where you want to stop, and then come all the way back up again. Once you're here, open those elbows out to the side, take the gaze towards the ceiling if it's comfortable for the neck, lift through the chin, and then let's go again. You can work at your own pace, okay? This is going to be particularly different for everybody. So just taking your time or speeding it up if it feels good, whatever that you need. And we'll take another 2 breaths here. So no need to rush back, but you'll just know roughly when you need to meet back at the top. Okay, when you're ready, come back to the top. Perfect. From here, we're going to take that right elbow down, lift the left elbow up towards the ceiling. Taking a second here just to feel that lovely opening through the left side. Come back up to neutral and then take that left elbow down, the right elbow drops. Notice whether the elbows are starting to drift in. If they are, what we want to do is keep those shoulders aligned. So if you start to feel that top elbow beginning to creep in, then just reset yourself. Coming back up to the top and then switching out, right elbow down, left elbow lifts. From here, can we take the right hand down? Can we take the left arm up? Start to open the chest towards the ceiling and then take the gaze there as well if it feels good. Reaching that left hand back towards that back corner of the room. Find that stretch all the way down from that hip, all the way up to the top fingertips. Okay, coming back up, take the hands back to the back of the head, interlace those fingers, drop that left elbow down, the right elbow is going to lift. Pause here, find that opening through that right side body. Check in, make sure those shoulders are stacked. Hang out here. And now the left hand's going to place down, the right arm is going to lift up, and then start to turn the chest towards the ceiling. Right arm can move back towards the back corner. If you don't have that in you, it's more of an intention. We want to open that chest towards the ceiling. Keep breathing here. Don't forget to breathe. And then release, come all the way back. Okay. From here, let's take the hands behind us. We're going to start to open up through the chest. Take the gaze up towards the ceiling and think here about lifting the chest. So we don't want to crunch into that lower back. We want to think about lifting and lengthening, okay? And then relax, walk the fingertips back in. Switch those legs over. Okay. From here, let's walk those hands back again. Lift through the chest, lift through the chin. Think about opening through the chest as you roll the shoulders back and down. Push through the fingertips to lift that chest a little bit more. And then making your way back up to seated. From here, let's take a forward fold. Take those fingertips down, walk those fingertips forward. We want to think about that long spine. So rather than collapsing and rounding, if that means that we're here and we still have a long spine, that's where we want to be. So walking the fingertips out to the point where you start to fold. Take another inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, can you walk the fingertips out a little bit more? Doesn't matter if you can't. Keep the neck nice and relaxed, taking the gaze down so we can keep a nice long spine. Take another inhale, lift, lengthen. Can we walk the fingertips further away? Push down into the fingertips to get the bottom back onto the block. Find the stretch around the shoulders. At this point now, if you want to come down towards the mat, feel free to do so. And then we're going to spider up those fingertips again. If they're not there, walk the hand over to the right hand side. Find that really deep stretch right through that left side body. Take the left hand, place it on top of the right hand. Allow that left shoulder to drop ever so slightly, finding that deep stretch once again through the shoulder space. Walking the hands all the way back through center, over to the left hand side. Right hand's going to place on top of the left. Drop that right shoulder slightly. Find that stretch into that right side. Okay, and then coming all the way back through center. Let's get rid of the block from underneath the bottom. Extend that right leg away from you. Bring the sole of the left foot into that inner thigh. I lounge back together. And then from here, we're going to take the toes on the right foot up towards the ceiling. Okay, so from here, we're just going to do a little bit of strength, just for fun. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. We're just going to lift that right heel off of the floor. If you want to put the hands down for a little bit of balance, do, but notice whether you're taking all of the strength back, okay? We're just going to lift the heel. You're going to find all of the work is coming from that hip flexor. Just going to go for 5. We've done 2. For 3. for 4, and for 5. Can't believe how hard that is. It doesn't go anywhere. Okay, from here, grab hold of your strap. We're going to hook the sole of that right foot, sitting up nice and tall. It's all about the spine here, okay? Push through the heel of that right foot. Push that sole of the left foot into the thigh. Find that opening on the left hip. We're going to lift and lengthen on that next inhale. As we exhale, bring those elbows in towards the body. Get a nice open chest, and then move the belly out of the way as you begin to fold down. If you get here with a straight spine, you're winning, okay? It doesn't matter if our nose is on our knee. That's not where we're aiming for. Thinking all the time about chin coming towards the big toe. Thinking about that length through the spine as you begin to fold down. Doesn't matter where you get to. It's about the fact that we want to find space through the spine. If we've been sat for the day, it's not good for us. So we just need to work with what we've got. Take an inhale, lift and lengthen one more time. As we exhale, fold a little bit lower if it's comfortable. If not, stay exactly where you are. Okay, from here, let's release the strap, come up. We're going to take the left hand behind us. Take that right hand as far forward as you can. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Push down through the left hand. Lift the hips, squeeze the glutes. Lift those hips towards the ceiling as we reach that right hand towards the back wall. Find that openness through the front body. We should have this stretch from the fingertips all the way down to the pinky edge side of that right foot that is pushing down into the mat. Glutes are squeezing. Imagine lifting through the belly button up towards the ceiling. Okay, nice and slowly with control, come all the way down and switch it out. Left leg comes long, sole of that right foot in towards the inner left thigh. We're going to need that strap in a moment, but not till we've played with some strength. So sitting up nice and tall. If you need the hands for some support, go ahead, but careful not to take all of that weight into the hands. We're just going to lift that left leg for 1, for 2, see if you can keep sitting upright, for 3, for 4, for 5. Gosh, that is so hard. Okay, well done. We're going to hook the foot. Bring that strap in towards the body, elbows come back, open through the chest. Take the inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale as you move the belly out of the way. Begin to fold over the top of that left leg. Take another inhale, lift, lengthen, fold a little bit more. Keep pushing that right knee down so we can open through that right hip. Last one here as you begin to fold to wherever is comfortable on that left side. Releasing that strap, coming up as carefully as you need. Right hand places down, left arm sweeps all the way forward. Push down through the right hand, lift the hips. Left hand sweeps back, open through the chest. Left hand reaches towards the back corner of the wall, and then you find this openness down the front body all the way down to the pinky edge side of that left foot. Keep breathing, allow the belly to expand with the deep breaths. Keep squeezing the glutes. Feel free. And then slowly coming all the way back down. Perfect. All right. Let's find ourselves in a table position. I've got some options for you. Today. So tuck the toes. We're going to keep our block nearby because we're going to want that. Okay, so we're going to tuck the toes. We're going to push the hands down into the mat. We're going to engage the core and we are going to hover the knees. So we're in a hovered table. Okay, this is great if you want some strength today. If you don't, keep the knees on the floor. No problem. Okay, so we're hovering those knees. Take the right foot away and push through that right heel. We're just going to pause here. That left knee is still hovering, but we're going to have to work quite a bit harder than if our left knee was on the mat. I'm going to pause here. Enjoy the stretch down the back of the leg. Keep those hips level. Right knee is going to come in, come back to your hovered table. Switch it out. Left leg comes away, push down through that left heel. Keeping those hips level. If at any point you need to drop that right knee, then perfect. It doesn't matter, just do that. Don't forget to breathe. That feels like that's a really important cue to give you right now. Take that left foot back in. From here, take the knees as wide as the mat. Sit back into the heels. Find a wide-legged child's pose. Walk those fingertips forward. Sink the bottom back onto the heels. Maybe lift through the palms to push back into the fingertips to get the bottom back even further onto the heels. Keep the neck relaxed. Enjoy the stretch through the shoulders. Okay, let's come back for a little bit more. So we're going to find our table once again. From here, we're going to find our plank, okay? So extend that right leg, then the left leg. Find your plank pose. I know you know how to do a plank, but we're just going to check just in case. Shoulders are stacked over the wrists. We're going to push back through the heels. We're going to imagine the kneecaps are lifting up towards the ceiling. The glutes are squeezing, the core is engaged. And the gaze is between the hands to make sure our neck is nice and long, okay? So you can stay here for a moment. If you ever need to drop to the knees, that's fine, do that. We're going to play around with a block. So pop the block behind your right wrist. We're going to keep the hips level, and we're just going to move the block over to the left side, and then move it back to the right side. I hear you say, this is a pointless exercise, Michelle. Why are we doing this? The block doesn't need to move from side to side. I do get what you're saying. However, if you want to go nice and slow, you're going to need a lot more control. Think if you're going a bit quicker, really think about keeping those hips down. Okay, we don't want to start to look like we're somewhere between a plank and a down dog. I'm going to count you in for another 5 seconds. That's all. Okay, for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Take the knees down and then remove the block from your mat and find a narrow-legged child's pose. Take the bottom back onto the heels, take the forehead down. Up to you whether you want to keep those arms out or if you want to wrap them behind you, palms up, allowing the shoulders to start to fall over the top of the knees. Allow the heart rate to soften or to drop, the breath to soften. Finding a little bit of time just for yourself to reset. Maybe it's a good time to focus in on that intention. Certainly if it was one about building fire in the body or finding your strength. Okay, nice and slowly come and unwind like a beautiful snail. Yes, all snails are beautiful. Take the hands down, find your table once again, okay? From here, we're just going to open out to the right side. Open that right hand towards the ceiling, bring the chest up towards the ceiling. When I say towards the side wall, no one can get to the ceiling. That would be a terrible thing to do. Right hand's going to slide under, going to tap down, hold there, push down through the hand, find the stretch through the shoulder. Open up again, and then slide back through. Going to go for another one of these. So open up. This time, right hand's going to slide underneath left, and we're going to rest on top of that right shoulder. Okay, so bottom stacked over the top of the knees, and then walk the left hand away from you, spider up those fingertips. If you've got a little bit more space and you want to, you can extend that left leg away, starting to push through that left heel. making sure that that neck is nice and relaxed. Thinking about the heel pushing away if that's where you're at, kneecap moving up towards the ceiling, or the back of the knee towards the ceiling, I should say. Okay, let's take that left knee back down if that's where you're at. Push down through the left hand. Come back into your table. This time let's open out to the left side. Left hand is going to lift. Left hand comes underneath the right. Push down into the palm of the hand. Find the stretch through that left shoulder. 2 more. Let's open to the left side. Come all the way back under. Last one here. Open to the left. This time, left hand slides underneath. Come to rest on the left shoulder. Right hand extends. You can spider up through those right fingertips and extend the right leg if that's comfortable. Keeping those hips level if the leg is extended. Okay, drop that knee if that's where you are. Push down through the right hand. Draw that left hand out. From here, we're going to hover our table one more time. Hover that table, holding it here for a moment. Coming into some hip circles, okay? So it's like I'm distracting you with something for something else. We're going to take that right leg. We're just going to move that knee so that we can start to move through the hip. If this is too much, option to drop down to the knee. Take it in the other direction. Feels so peculiar in the other direction. And then switch it out. Left foot, right foot comes down. Let's go on the other side. Take those hip circles. Option to drop to the knee if you need to. Take it in the other direction. Okay, and then pause, bring both knees down. From here, take the feet to the outside edges of the mat. Bring the knees to the outside edges of the mat. We're going to take to the forearms in a frog. So this is all about finding right angles. So we want our knees, ankles, hips at right angles. If you are happy to open a little bit further, then gently just tap down those toes and just extend those knees away. So this is about finding your edge, not plonking yourself into your edge, okay? So we're just working into what feels good. So just pausing here. What we want to do is make sure that we are not collapsing in the lower back. So if you find that you're dipping in the lower spine, then push down through the forearms so that you can lift up just a little bit higher. If you've got a bolster to rest on, even better. If this feels really intense on your hips, you can take the body weight forward, forget the 90-degree angle, just moving into what feels good for you. Meanwhile, giving you a little bit of a rest from your wrists and giving you a little bit of a rest on your core. Yeah, I'm very kind. Okay, from here, push down into the forearms, tuck those toes, draw the knees together, find a narrow-legged child's pose. Let's reset here. Take the forehead down, take the hands behind you. Just resetting, maybe a little bit of a sway from side to side. Whatever's going to feel good. And then starting to come all the way back up. We're going to take the hands down. We're going to tuck the toes. We're going to move straight into a down dog. Start to extend through those heels towards the mat and walk those heels out. Pause in your down dog. Take a nice deep bend into the knees. Allow the sit bones to really look up towards the ceiling. Wrap the triceps round. Make sure those elbow creases are looking at one another. And then extend the heels down one more time. Let's take the right leg high, reach that right leg towards the ceiling. 3-legged dog, open the hips to the right side, drop the back knee. Squeeze the glutes open through that front body. A little bit of core work, not too much. Right knee comes to the right elbow, to the left elbow, to the right elbow. Find your three-legged dog. And then the right foot's going to come through the hands. Keep the hands down to the mat just to spend a little bit of time nice and safely working through that hip space, okay? I always think whenever your hands are connected to the mat, you feel a little bit more confident to just play around. When you're happy, left hand is going to stay down, right arm is going to lift, open the chest towards the right side. Right hand's going to come down. From here, we're going to come up into our high lunge. Okay, so thinking about that big red button that's underneath your heel, it's imaginary. Push down, okay, nice strong back leg. Nice and strong here, thinking about being on train tracks, not on a tightrope. That front knee bent over the front ankle. We're going to drop that left knee down to hover. We're going to squeeze the glutes to lift back up again. We're going to go for 5. It's no biggie. Here we go for 1, for 2, for 3, for 4, and for 5. And then whilst we're here, let's make our way into a warrior 3. Going to take flight into that right leg. As we start to hinge from the hips, we want to look like a capital T. Draw that left hip down in line with the right. If you want to remove the hands, take the hands behind you. Imagine you're flying. If you want a little bit more core work, take the hands in front of you. Imagine you're holding a giant beach ball. Holding it there. Breathing. Hands to hips. Take a micro bend into that right knee. Begin to come all the way up to standing. We're going to bring that left knee up so the knee is in line with the hip. Start to push through the heel. Holding it here. Take the left knee out towards the left, open. Back to center. Across to the right. Can that right hand take the outside of that left knee? Can you extend through that left arm? Can you gaze over the left fingertips without falling over? Feels like a pretty big challenge right now. Focusing in on something that's not moving. Imagine that cord from the crown of the head lifting you up, engage through the core. So bring the gaze back to center, release the hands, bring them back to the hips. From here, take a large step back with that left leg, find your high lunge. That was brilliant. Hands come down. Take the right foot back to join the left, walk the heels out. Okay, here we go again. That left leg is going to lift, three-legged dog. Bring that, open those hips up towards the left-hand side and drop that back knee towards the bottom, squeeze the glutes. Okay, here we go. Left knee, left elbow, right elbow, left elbow, three-legged dog. Bring that left foot through the hands. Remember the train tracks rather than the tight rope. Come up in, oh no, we're going to just move around into the hip space first of all. Got that. Okay, moving into that hip space, enjoying how that feels. Maybe one side feels different to the other. Okay, pausing, right hand comes down, open that left hand towards the ceiling, chest comes around, push back with that back heel so that we can lift that back knee up towards the ceiling so we're strong through the back leg. Left hand's going to come down. From here, come up into your high lunge. Okay, widen the stance if you need to. Push back that imaginary emergency button underneath that back heel. Nice and strong here. We're going to drop that knee, we're going to hover, and we're going to squeeze to lift. Just 5. Here we go, we've done 1. for 2, for 3, for 4, and for 5. All right, let's take flight into that left leg, starting to hinge from the hips as we bring that back leg up. We want to keep the hips level, which is why we have our hands on our hips, so we can notice when they start to open out. Draw the right hip down. If you're happy, release the hands behind you. Keep gazing down so we can keep the neck long. A little bit more core work. Bring the hands in front of you. Okay, hands back to hips. Micro bend through that front knee. Come up to standing. Draw that right knee up so it's in line with the hip. Imagine growing tall through the crown of the head. All right, here we go. Let's take that right knee wide. Bring it back to center. Bring that right knee across the body. Left hand takes to the outside of that right knee. Extend through the right hand. Can we gaze over the right fingertips? Imagine growing tall. Don't start to lean back if you can avoid it. Keep control of the breath. Gaze comes back to center. Release that right leg. Hands to hips. Take a large step back with that back leg. High lunge. Super impressive stuff. Well done. Take the hands down to the mat. We're going to bring the knees down. From here, just sit the bottom back into a child's pose. Take the forehead down. Take the hands behind you. Allow your breath to settle. Feel the support of the mat against the body. Know that you've worked hard today. We've found space across the shoulders, moved into the front body. We've done some core work, some work through the glutes. We've done some balance and some stability. And we've just turned up for ourselves today. That in itself is pretty special. Nice and slowly begin to just unwind. When you're there, just move the legs out of the way. And then up to you where you want to find your final Savasana. So if you would like to lay down, then go ahead. If you're happy to sit, then sit. Entirely up to you. But just allowing yourself to relax wherever you are. If you want to take the option to end class like we started, so with a cushion underneath you just to open up through the chest again, then absolutely go ahead and do that. So I'll give you a moment or two just to remove any distractions, any tickly pieces of hair, get a jumper if you need one. And we're going to take ourselves a body scan today. So sat there on your mat, starting as we always do with foundations. Our feet, our connection to the earth. Just noticing where they are the toes pointing towards the ceiling, or have the ankles relaxed enough to allow the toes to just drop out. We're going to travel up the back of the legs now, knowing that we've worked through the legs, thinking to what they have done for us today, everything they have provided us with. Traveling up the calves, over the knees, over the hamstring, the quads. We get to our hips. We rely so heavily on them, asking them to do so much. We're going to take a deep inhale, breathe in fully. As you release, imagine sending your breath to give life to the hips, almost thanking them for everything they have done for you. From here, we're going to travel up the spine. We're stopping off as we breathe in and out, just noticing the lungs fill, chest lift, the ribs expand. And then as you exhale, notice the shrinkage in the body, the chest falling, the belly falling, shoulders falling. Maybe you notice that faint air drifting over the top lip, feeling release. And from here, as we reach the shoulders, travel down the arms. Just think from the beginning of the day, everything you carried, you've moved, you've asked your arms to do for you. So let's take an inhale, and as we exhale, send breath to the shoulders, to the hands. Release there. Making our way from the shoulders up the neck. On your next inhale, see if you can grow just a little bit longer on your mat. Enjoying all that space that you found in class today. So we're going to travel down the forehead, stopping between the eyebrows. And then slowly over the nose to the lips. Pausing there. Taking your last inhale, your exhale. And then beginning to awaken the body, slowly but surely, coming back to your intention from the beginning of class today. Maybe moving through the fingertips, moving through the toes. Inhaling, those arms above the head, stretching up, reaching up, finding length. And I hope that you can take this rested feeling into the rest of your day. Well done.